I wouldn't recommend hooking your LEGO globe up to a Technic motor because that might happen. Happy Earth Day to everyone out there who happens to be watching this video on Earth Day. To the rest of you, happy Tuesday, I guess. Hi, I'm Josh. This is Josh Build Stuff. Today we're talking about a set which means the world to me. From a literal point of view, figuratively, this set is, it's alright. Today we're talking about the LEGO Ideas The Globe. This set just came out at the beginning of February in 2022. It contains 2,585 pieces and costs $200 here in the US. But of course, we're not just talking about the US today, we're talking about the entire world. And if you want to know my purely subjective opinions on this set, which is why I hope you are here, in all honesty, I'm of two minds when it comes to this set, or I should say, I am of two hemispheres. In the northern hemisphere, I am excited about this set because it is the epitome of what LEGO Ideas should be. It's something new and different and innovative and a little weird, but I love the final execution of this set. I think this piece would look excellent on display in an office or other environment in which home decor is held to a very high standard. I think the end result is beautiful in this set. And yet down here in the southern hemisphere, well, that's where the negatives start to creep up. Sorry to my friends in Australia and New Zealand. Well, there are some downsides to this set, like the fact that this is not a perfect sphere, and LEGO is never going to achieve a perfect sphere, yet they just keep on trying, and there are a lot of different countries, continents, and different regions of this globe that are not very well represented. But what really could LEGO have done when trying to build the whole world at this somewhat small scale? And then of course there's the build for this set, which was tedious at best and torturous at worst. And so I'm kind of stuck in this perpetual north versus south mentality where a large part of me wants to really enjoy this set just for what it is, and yet there's some small part of me just holding me back. And in an effort to further distance ourselves from this north and south metaphor that I regret starting in the first place, because the United States isn't quite far enough away from its own dark, distant past, and that's not a VHS box set that I'm anxious to rewatch anytime soon. Let's zoom out and try to gain a greater perspective on this little globe that we all occupy by first talking about the build for this set, and then maybe we'll do a little traveling. Stick around. The build for this set, like I said, it is a bit tedious, but it started off smooth, much like our own Mother Earth on which we are all standing. But the stand for this thing was very cool. All of the brown parts, a lot of inverted techniques and snot bricks going on. That part of the build was a lot of fun. Starting on the sphere of this set is when things got a bit repetitive. That is to say, like the equator of this build, a lot of cool square bits, and then, well, you had 16 separate sections on the top of this sphere and then 16 separate sections along the bottom, and, well, that's like the same exact build over and over again. The only difference is maybe there's some slightly different green and brown and white pieces stuck to the outside of those bits, but honestly, you don't really realize what you're building while you're building it. All you realize is that you've been building the same thing 16 times over and then 16 times again, because this old globe we live on has two separate hemispheres as established earlier. The completed build for this set is a beautiful work of art, but we have to ask ourselves, does the tedious means justify a beautiful end? And well, that's a question that only you can answer.
Where in the world is
Josh Sandiego?
San Diego? No, you couldn't pay me to go to San Diego. Whole place smells like hipsters. Oh, Florida. Hawaii. Colorado? I don't know, it's snowy. Las Vegas. Florida again, but worse somehow. San Francisco. Australia. Mate, what's this, Los Angeles? A little too close to San Diego for my taste. Oh, it's foggy London town. Ireland. New Zealand. It's like Lord of the Rings. Texas. I could have just visited the Sauruses for real. I live like 5 minutes away from them, but I don't think I'll be invited back to their home after what happened last time. Antarctica. Denmark. Germany. France, Italy. If you'd like Josh Sandiego to visit your city or town, then place your name and location in an unmarked, unaddressed envelope and slide it under your pillow before you go to bed at night. Don't worry, I'll find it.
Where in the world is
Josh Sandiego?
The thing is, this set, at the surface, this set is my vibe. I would like every single LEGO set to be the kind of thing that could be displayed with some degree of dignity in a home or actual office or workspace. This is the set that would be in the background, and it's the kind of set that people would see and be like, oh, that looks pretty cool. And then they would go, oh wait, is that Lego? And you'd be like, yeah, it's a globe made out of Lego. Pretty cool, right? That is my vibe. Obviously, that's what was intended when the LEGO designers put out promotional photos of this set, because all those pictures are taken in environments with a lot of wainscoting, and it's displayed on top of a piano. There's a lot of natural wood paneling and good natural light flowing in to display this set. Basically the environment that you would display an actual globe if you had any money or, like I said, dignity. But if you have $200 to spend, you can have a LEGO globe on display instead. And that's kind of the vibe and aesthetic that I always liked, that I'd always want to go for, kind of in the background that you see in my office. I'm super excited to display this thing in the background here, but it occurred to me that there might be those out there who don't necessarily share my same view of the world. Again, literally and figuratively in this case, and not everyone would want to display this set in their home or office, and so maybe there might be a more practical use for a LEGO set like this. Maybe you could use this as a form of GPS. Is that supposed to be a left back there? I'm in North America. This is so much worse than MapQuest. In hindsight, that wasn't my best idea. If you want my honest thoughts on this set, which again I imagine is the reason that you are here, I'm honestly torn. I really want to like this set, and I do appreciate this set a lot for what it is. But do I really like this set? Yeah, let's go ahead and say yes for the sake of argument here. It is very cool, it is big, it is different, it looks beautiful on the outside. On the inside, it's, well, mostly hollow in reality, but that's kind of the part that's tripping me up here. I mentioned the build for this thing was a bit repetitive, but you may have noticed throughout this video I've been spinning this globe. Well, I'm actually really nervous to spin this globe because it's actually fallen apart on me a couple of times already. Maybe it's because I tried to hook a Technic motor up to it at least once and I've loosened every bit of this set, but the thing is actually kind of fragile. And can you imagine if oil companies treated our own globe as carefully as I'm treating this LEGO version of our planet? Man, we would be in a much better place in terms of conservation. But the whole thing, each of these panels is kind of only held on by a couple of points at a time. And so at any given time, any one of these might just pop off, and there you're just missing a whole portion of the southern Indian Ocean all of a sudden. And all of the individual little sections, the slices of this globe, they're held on by single clips, but not the clips that have a very good hold. They're the loose clips, and so you can pop any one of them out of place really easily and then pop it back into place, assuming it's lined up, which in this case it isn't really lined up. And I experienced that kind of detachment in my everyday life in a lot of different circumstances. But with this globe, when I have tried to spin this thing with a Technic motor or just with my own hands, and I've had parts of this thing popping and flying off, and I've had to sit there and repair the thing, and I've gotten to know this little planet pretty well while trying to put it back together. If you're just in this set for the displayability, for the very cool aesthetic of it, for this opportunity to, I don't know, stick your own little marker on the globe to represent your own hometown there, well, this is a great piece to do that. And for $200, I think this set, it's definitely worth it. So the big question, would I recommend buying this set if you're on the fence? Absolutely, I would. I think it's worth experiencing this build, even if you don't love the experience itself. It's still a great finished product. Plus, you can say a bunch of ridiculous things like, I've got the whole world in my hands, or making LEGO YouTube videos is a viable source of income for my future. When I really think about it, this is the only globe I'm going to buy, just like this is the only Earth that we're going to get. So maybe it's time we start appreciating it, right? So here's to the next 30,000 years on Spaceship Earth. While no one knows for sure what we'll see or do, I do know it will be quite an adventure. An adventure that we'll take and make together. I'll see you in the future. As for me, I'm just excited to display something this cool here on my shelves. Is that good? Wow. Oh. That's okay. I got it.